So let's talk about something that is, I have to swear, just fucking confusing, you know?
I mean, you could say effing.
Yeah,
You could
it's just confusing. So, so Lorenzo di Bonaventura, who's
a name that we're getting better at saying every time we talk about him. I think that's pretty good. Or bad. It depends.
I don't know. So he's the producer has always been the producer of all these movies since the first one in 2007 of the Transformer movies. And every time his name comes up, it's always like, oh, we're doing this. Oh, we're not doing this. Oh, it's this. So we're not doing that. And while we were at TFCon, there was all kinds of news dropping like every day, and then like the next day it would contradict the news before. And I was actually kind of glad that we were at TFCon. I was saying to Jaws D, I was just like, you know what? I'm glad that we're at TFCon because hopefully by the time this weekend is over, everything will be cleared up.
Yeah.
Apparently it's just getting weirder every day as it passes. So apparently, at least as of this recording, because I know that if somehow something changes, we're just gonna get a whole bunch of comments saying like, no, they said that they said this. It's like, no, well, as of this recording, aka Tuesday, March 13th. Is it 13th? What's the date today?
Don't say it's the 19th.
19th. Excuse me, I don't even know what date it is. March 19th, 2019. So they say here that they're working on a reboot, and it's like, wait, what? Well, then
wait, isn't that what they're supposed to be working on, a reboot?
What wasn't the Bumblebee movie a reboot to begin with? Oh no, it's now it's back to being a prequel again. It's like, okay, and then it's like, but also, oh, by the way, we're working on a reboot, but we're also working on a sequel for The Last Night, and I'm like, wait, what? So we're doing a reboot, but we're also doing a sequel to The Last Night.
Yeah.
And it's like, so wait, we're doing two separate movies? I've never heard of, and see, this is the thing that's crazy. I've never heard of a studio that has ever done like two separate continuities for the same franchise simultaneously.
Kind of DC at the moment.
Is it the same studio though?
Yeah, the DC movies is all Warner Brothers.
Interesting. Wow.
So
okay,
it's like
so
they would be it would be these two congruently doing it at the same time.
I guess to be fair, DC is also one of those companies in continuity heavy. 3 Earth 7, Earth 2, Earth this, Earth Prime.
But mind you, I'm saying like Warner Brothers. So like if you're comparing Paramount and Warner Brothers here, like the studio specifically the studio.
It's like just imagine if like, I guess the best way to put it is like, imagine if we had like, you had the X-Men Wolverine origin movie, and around the same time we also have its own reboot with a different actor playing Wolverine, and it's just like it's just confusing. And I mean this is like hot off, like where a couple of days before that they're like, oh, let's talk about a Beast Wars movie. And
it's
how
like there was like, yeah, we could do
it.
Wasn't like we're doing it. It was more like we could do one.
But we don't know about the brand recognition. I'm like, bro, like any kid who grew up in the 90s, which is now your target demographic, knows what Beast Wars is. You know what I mean? Like John Cena knows what Beast Wars is. Maybe he was fed that line, but that's not the point. Like the fact that
I could kind of understand where.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. I was saying like I could kind of understand where, when Beast Wars happened, there was a lot of people going truck not monkey, and then when Monkey was done, we're like, oh man, we miss Monkey. You know what I mean? And then like Monkey kind of shows up here and there, like Battle of the Primes, they showed up. Optimus Primal showed up, and then he turns into Optimal Optimus. So like there's little hints here and there in the toys. We get the best version of Rhinox we ever got. We get the best version of Rat Trap we ever got. We get an animated version of Black Arachnia here and there. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of nods here and there. And people are picking up, and even the Masterpiece line. Part of me feels like they should try to do a small one, because I know in the article they said like it's kind of hard to market $500,000 to your investors because that's a big investment. But I would say try to pare down your characters. tried, like just like how Beast Wars season 1 was. It was a small cast, and you could laser focus it, and like kind of trim the fat as much as you can, and get it done. But
the thing that scares me more than anything is, again, he was talking this interview that he did with the Collider, and he was saying how they want to bring more of the, and this is his exact words, the Bayhem. And I was like, wait, so you want to bring back more of that, I guess we could call it emotionally exhausting fight scenes that just that just go on for an hour straight nonstop, and you don't know what the hell's going on anymore, and then you're just tired and want to go home.
I again, like, I feel like that
I thought we were past
style
this.
is good for like 1 or 2 movies, and then by the third and fourth, et cetera, like it gets very tiring. So you need to like make it more clearer, make it more concise, and actually have people that have a better eye for action, and instead of just, everything's going on, we're humans, we don't understand what's going on, all this action, like, no, make it clear. Like, the Bumblebee was a good tone, a good palate cleanser, a nice, like, we pull back the camera, we could see how they're fighting, we could see what's going on, even though it's not humans fighting, it's still conventional and it makes sense, and where things are placed in the grand scheme of things of this one battle. Like, even the intro of Bumblebee does that extremely well,
It was short, and it made everyone happy. You know what I mean? It didn't have to be an hour long. It gave everyone what they wanted to see. It made them happy, and then they pulled back. You know what I mean? It was
and they also put in that little nice they put in that nice reference to the animated movie where the explosion happens and Optimus Prime jumps up through it from alt mode into robot mode, and he's shooting downward, and you get that nice upward shot at him as he's going over the camera kind of thing. Like, I think that's like a nice like homage right there, and done very well, and done very originally too.
And there was and again, the Bumblebee movie itself had just enough action to keep people interested. Anyways, look, at the end of the day, robots died, they got decapitated, they got killed, a la, still a Bay kind of style of fighting. But it's like the fact that they're feeling there wasn't enough and they need more Bayhem. Oh boy,
I'm not.
I feel like we have not learned anything. Not, and by we I mean them. You know what I mean? It's like, I think that the Bumblebee movie succeeded in something. I mean, it wasn't like a blowout success, but it did something that was necessarily needed moving forward with this brand, because there was some weird areas going on. But that being said, it sounds like, I don't know, I feel like part of it, and this is just me personally, I feel like part of it is them going like, we need to do this because toy sales weren't as good. Because that is one truth, is that when Hasbro did their final quarter of 2018 and their sales, the Cyberverse stuff and the Bumblebee stuff wasn't doing well. It wasn't at all. But I think part of that has to do with the fact that, well, there's a lot of factors. Kids aren't buying toys. The Bumblebee toys weren't exactly the most cerebrally amazing things either. And
it's kind of hard to find Cybertron on something conventional to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very difficult to watch that show.
Cyberverse, you mean?
Cyberverse, excuse me. It's very, very difficult to get a hold of that show.
So I think that maybe the low sales of Bumblebee movie toys maybe made them go, well, see, like, kids didn't like the Bumblebee movie. Clearly they're not buying the toys, so maybe we need to go back to the Mayhem. Yeah, but you know what? The Last Night didn't sell well either. The Last Night toys didn't sell well either. That stuff barely got past 2 waves before it was already getting clearanced on by Walmart and the late Toys R Us in the United States. So it's I don't know. That's something that, don't take my word for it, but that's just my own personal opinion of why I think some of these decisions are being made. Because otherwise, if that's not the reason, then no one learned anything. Then literally, like, there's really just a lot of dumb people over there who are like, they're just going, oh, that was great. Hey, the fire's kind of small. Why don't we pour some gasoline on it? What's the worst that could happen? They're just going to burn themselves again because the Last Night didn't do well as they had hoped. And now I get a feeling they might do this again. And the fact that we're like, the fact that they can't make a decision, first of all, like, it seems like it's just jumping everywhere. It's a reboot. It's not a reboot. It's a reboot. Oh, you know what? It is a reboot. We're sticking with it. It's a reboot. Oh, by the way, no, it's not a reboot. Oh, by the way, we're doing a sequel now. Oh, no, wait, we're going to do an Optimus Prime movie. No, we're going to do Bumblebee 2. Maybe Beast Wars. No, wait, now we're going to do a sequel to The Last Night. It's like,
Yeah,
guys,
I mean, yeesh.
like,
And what's even weirder about him saying that we're doing a sequel to The Last Night is the fact that you just said you can't fathom doing
exactly.
a Unicron. Like, how do you bring Unicron to the movie first?
You
Like,
just literally took that genie out of the you took that genie out of the bottle at the end of the Last Night. Then you said you can't do it, and said, well, Bumblebee's a reboot anyway. So it's like, okay, well, you can't do it. You said Bumblebee's a reboot. Well, no harm, no foul. It's not like we're gonna revisit that anyways. And now we're revisiting it, and now you're saying what was impossible to do, you're gonna do. Does that mean everything's gonna be a Galactus situation like the Fantastic Four movie? Like, it's just, I really hope that this is just a bunch of talking heads that are really just so confused right now, and it'll all work out. But I don't know. This happens way too often with these movies.
like
where
I'm only hoping, because I know these two articles, one is older than the other one. That one is from a, let's see, it's him speaking English through a Japanese interpreter, and then the interpreter is saying it to this article in Japan, and then we're interpreting what all that broken phone thing back into English. So I'm just hoping it's just a mistranslation somewhere, and we're freaking out over nothing. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm honestly hoping for at least the
well, because we have an interview here with the Collider, which is pretty cut and dry too. You know,
with
like,
Collider.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Because there's also a lot of this stuff too has also been confirmed by the Collider. Like, he did the same interview with them too, and it matches up with this interview also. So it's I don't know.
Collider or the River? Because
no,
I know the Beast Wars one was River, and
this one's with the Collider.com talking about if there will be a Bumblebee 2 and blah blah blah, and the idea of rebooting. It's all over the place. It's all over the news right now. It's on Gizmodo. It's on the Collider.com. Everyone's talking about it, and it's again, like I said at the beginning, it's just confusing. It really is. And this is all within a span of like 5 days. In 5 days, we've had 5 different answers, and it's just it really.
Let's hope there's one definitive one and it just gets resolved.
It really just says a lot about just how this franchise, from a movie standpoint, they've never really had a clear idea where they were going. Think about the Marvel movies, and when we had another movie that came out in 2007 that wasn't Transformers called Iron Man, and when that movie came out, they clearly had a good target and direction of where they were going to go after that Iron Man movie. When we saw Nick Fury, and it was like, here we go. We know what they're doing here.
I think that was just like a good tease to see, like, okay, let's see what people think of this.
But it shows
and then that kind of drummed up I think I kind of drummed up more, because I feel like, I think sometimes people feel that, oh, they had this all planned all along. I feel like they kind of had 2 routes. They're like, okay, let's see what happens when we drop this little Easter egg. Oh, okay, people took to it. Okay, we're gonna go that route. You know what I mean?
But the point is,
to my knowledge, they go on.
No, I was just saying, people took to it. They took to it. That was 2007. The audience reacted, because you have to understand, when they wrote it, it was what, 2005, 2006. They took to it in 2007. They rolled with it. We're talking now 12 years later, coming off of the heels of Infinity War, Captain Marvel and all of that, Black Panther, Ant-Man and Wasp, and we're still on that route. We're still on that direction.
Well, because the way
we still have audiences dating all the way back to that 2007 movie. Everything that started with that 2007 movie is still part of that same timeline and that same story going forward. Now, then we look back to
I was just gonna say that like, that's true, but also with Iron Man 2, when they finally got to it, it was still a little bit clunky to kind of transition, to kind of pivot into the Avengers thing, because
that's
like,
not
it seemed
to
like,
say that an Iron Man. You have to
and I mean that that happens with a lot of movies. Like, if you're doing a franchise, of course you're gonna have some clunkiness trying to pivot and transition into something else as well. But I mean, at least we got to where we got to.
No, but that's not to say. Look, Iron Man 2 was, there's obviously going to be. Look, it's a lot of movies in that Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline. There's obviously going to be a few hiccups along the way. But the point is that this whole thing started in 2007, and it's been carrying along relatively successfully, and especially continuity-wise and everything, with very little hiccup. Sure, you could find a hole here and there, but nothing too major to get to the end. But now we look at 2007 with the Bay movie. And it's just been like, it's literally been a drunk guy behind the wheel, just just going down an alleyway. It's like, guy, all you have to do is just drive in a straight line. Drive in a straight line from this way to the other side through this alley. And everything will be good. And he's just turning the wheel each way, slamming each wall, and damaging the car. And then when he finally got to the end and the car's destroyed and it's leaking, coolant and everything, he's like, did I do okay? It's like, that's how I felt that, we've gotten to this point, and it's like the car's all mashed up, and we said, you know what? You're sober now? Yeah, I'm sober now. Are you sure? Yeah? All right, here's a brand new car. Here's the Reboot, right? And that was the Bumblebee movie. And he drove straight for a bit. And we're like, okay, we're good. He's sober now. He's driving straight. He's not hitting the walls. And then one of these directors went, nah, that's not good. Give him a beer, And that's the problem. And they're going, we need to get him drunk again. And now he's going to be slamming all over the walls again. And, oh, by the way, that point when he drove straight for a little bit, yeah, let's just forget about that. Let's act like that didn't even happen. He was always drunk, So it's like, this is what's going on. It's just a mess. And I really hope that, they really clear up what they're trying to do. To me, the Reboot was the best thing ever to happen because it wipes clean a mess. We've had other franchises in the past that have had movie releases that were a mess, and then we like to forget about them. Look, the Fantastic Four franchise has had all these attempts, and every time they reboot it because they know they need to put that past behind them. Best example of it all.
It's the.
No, they've all been terrible.
They've all been terrible because they've all been trying to hold the rights, and you just got to put something out there. That's what all of them. Well, I mean, sorry. The 90s one, that's what that one was about. I kind of feel like they tried with the 2000 ones, the Silver Surfer one and the one before that.
But it didn't work out.
And then the most recent one, again, it was them trying to retain the rights. So they just put any old thing out there.
But what I'm just trying to say is that sometimes you just need to put the past in the past and just move forward. Look, there was a Captain America.
But also try to make something good and not just do it to do it.
Of course. Yeah, obviously.
And that's always the tricky part. That's always, getting people that really care about the franchise. And there might be some people that do, but their vision might be too grand. And you just
Travis Knight. Travis Knight sounded like someone.
You need to hit it.
He was like someone who cared about the franchise, and I think that showed in the product in the same way that Derek Wyatt cared about the franchise, and that showed in the product. They actually gave both of them the here you go. You know what I mean? Like, you can do what you want. Here you go. And it wasn't like you need it now. Smack, 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 smack. And I think that's also a very important part about the creative process is letting them do their own thing, and hopefully that they're respecting the timeline that they're given as well, because that's also other thing you have to be worried about as well. Oh, of course, well, especially when you're dealing with pre-established media that has its own stories to tell and stuff. But I mean, we've gone long on this. Let us know what you think about all of this. I mean, we could go. This conversation could go on forever. I feel it can.
Yeah, pretty much.
I really do. I feel like we're only touching the tip of the iceberg here of what could be said. There's so much, and I mean, I feel like I'm gonna upload this, and then a couple days later, we're gonna get a new wrinkle in this, and then we're gonna have a whole new 30-minute discussion, if not more, segments all about this. But let us know what you think. Let us know, I mean, is this really the drunk guy behind the wheel that I think it is? Or do you think that there's maybe something good that could come from this? Let us know.